and welcome back. Thanks again for joining us on episode 6. Hard to believe we're already on episode 6. I'm Dylan.
I'm Elle.
And we're just a couple of Gen X girls trying to navigate life.
Sometimes navigating better than other times.
This last week, a lot of stuff has gone on.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, and I've been off work for a couple of days, and I'm like, ugh, I got to work tomorrow. Thank goodness it's only a 3-day work week, but I'm with you.
I'm wiped.
Physically and emotionally exhausted. But we're sitting on our new studio couch and table setup. Gotta say, I feel mighty comfortable right now.
I'm very comfortable.
Yep. And
sipping my cocktail.
The drink of the show today. Oh, yeah, we're going to save the name for it because after we get into our topic, it might be
more poignant,
more salient.
Yes.
So, couple things happened since last we chatted. If you recall from episode, I think it was 1, we talked about in our Making Friends. One of the things was my daughter had run into a person at the vet who decided to put themselves out there and left her a sticky note inviting her to go on a dog walk.
That's right. And I still haven't heard. How did that ever turn out?
So we finally connected with them. So we showed up on the Sunday 9 a.m. at the park. Miranda, of course, brought her 2 corgis, and I brought my token Australian Shepherd. And I did feel like I was on the outs having an Australian Shepherd because this was a corgi group.
Scoff.
Yes. And it was fun. What I'm going to say is, are these my peeps? No. Are they delightful and nice people? Yes. Will I continue to do this? Maybe. But yeah, we definitely left with that. I had to give my daughter a little bit of a scolding in the car because I'm like, you think she's my age? Because very clearly she was older than me. And they didn't exactly walk with lightning.
How old does she think you are?
I know. And she's like, well, I saw her in the vet really quickly and I didn't really like, okay. They walked really slow. I think hobble would be a better description for the husband in particular. But again, nice. And almost all the conversation during the 45-minute walk was about dogs.
Were they Midwestern?
No, they were not Midwestern.
They were not.
They were not Midwestern.
Well, there goes my
Very
theory.
into their dogs. Oh, look at this. I got chocolate on myself. Just random spots of chocolate.
Oh my. Can't take you anywhere.
Seriously, random spots of chocolate. But it was nice. It wasn't a brisk walk by any means. And it was a lot of talk about corgis. And while they were, one woman who had met Miranda was pretty physically fit, would not be mountain biking with us, would not be pickleballing. As a matter of fact, the other funny thing was as we were walking in a park where people had decided to just makeshift tape pickleball lines to the basketball court. And they brought their own nets and they had 2 courts set up. And as we're walking, I'm just kind of eyeing that group. And Miranda's like, you're looking at that. And I go, uh-huh. I peeled off at the end of the walk and I went over and out of my comfort zone, went and talked to them as they were packing up.
Did you end up playing on Sunday?
I didn't.
Oh.
Yeah. The power of Herkle-Durkling compelled me.
Yeah. The Herkle-Durkle.
The Herkle-Durkle. I stayed in bed and did my normal.
Because they played. That was my argument, and she had asked me if I wanted to go play.
Too early.
They
played, from like 7:30 till 9, and I'm like, on a Sunday.
I think the issue that we have is that most people have a life, and we don't, and they have to get up and do their things early in the morning so that they can go get on with life, and we never have anything else to do.
So I would have loved at 10 a.m. So I talked to him and I said, he said, anytime, come on over. And it's an area where, unlike a lot of the parks around here, they do not want you repurposing any of the facilities for pickleball because I guess there's people who complain about pickleball noise. And
it does
very
make a
vocal
popping noise. Oh, that was loud. Sorry.
And so because it's in like a little deep bowl of the park and there's no direct houses around it, they said no one's ripped up their taped lines. They just bring their nets and they set them up. One of these days, maybe when it's not so freezing at 7:30 in the morning, I'll get up and go because I was watching them as we were walking, and some of the people looked like they could, be our peeps. They were moderately athletic, and
that's how you would describe us. We're moderately
athletic. And they just looked like they were having fun. It wasn't. Sometimes you go to these pickleball courts, and oh my gosh, the people are so intense, and they're telling you, well, let me help you out with that. No, I know the ball was supposed to be a third shot drop.
I know what I'm supposed to do.
My failure to third shot drop is the problem.
Right.
Not that I didn't know that a third shot drop.
I always know what I'm supposed to do. Oh, I should, instead of hammering that down and out, I should have just dinked it over the net. But I don't. Sometimes when somebody sets you up for the slam shot, you want to do it no matter what.
So it was a good experience. So the woman extended herself, put herself out there for us to join. Probably won't make a love connection there, but then, maybe with the pickleball people, get to know them. We'll see. That'll be an adventure for another day.
Another day.
So not a fail, but more to come.
Okay. And then the other thing we did, was that Friday? Thursday?
Wednesday? Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I know.
It's
a week ago today.
Oh, my God. Okay.
We went to a Michelin Star Restaurant.
That's right. Oh, the last time we recorded, we were about to go. That's right.
Yeah, we were about to go, and we went. And yeah. Okay. So it was beautiful location on the beach. We walked actually up the pier because we got there early. Traffic was not so bad getting there. But to start, I would say the first thing that was off-putting to me was they seated us at the worst table in the restaurant.
We really did have the worst table. It was not only front and center as soon as you walked in the door, it was a table, not a booth, and it had the most uncomfortable chairs in the restaurant. And the restaurant had several different
types
8
of styles of chairs as part of that
worst.
Eclectic thing. They had nice padded ones. They had ones that were like little sofas. So we're in the path of everybody. Sitting on the
path of most resistance.
Unpadded.
Yes.
Unpadded wood chairs. And again, the decor was eclectic. I wouldn't say I had anything specifically wrong with the decor.
Well, I thought it was interesting. This is a Michelin star restaurant. There were no tablecloths on the table. It was just a plain wood table, nothing on it. I was expecting a little more schwank for my buck, and I got zero schwank.
But then in their defense, when I read about it, the chef wanted that to be a place where a Michelin star was accessible to anyone. So they have no dress code there. And he, I believe on his website, even encourages people to show up coming right off the beach in their sandals and their flip-flops and board shorts. And
you definitely felt that about it. It was comfortable. Yes. It had it is the only Mexican Michelin star restaurant. So it had a definite Mexican feel to it. Or it
wasn't like piñatas and all that, but
no,
it definitely
classy Mexican joint. Yeah.
So we did, the pre-fee menu. So it's kind of 3 different ways you could enjoy a meal there. We have a dog who's threatening to disconnect our wires.
This is the puppy.
When you have a puppy
who is a little too much for me. He's a sweet, sweet boy, but he is just all energy.
He is.
So now we have 2 dogs in here, and a chinchilla, and a cat. It's a zoo.
Yes.
Dogs and cats
living together.
Mass hysteria. We already used that one.
Yes, we did.
We used that line.
It's so applicable in my life.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
that was what his vibe was supposed to be. So we chose of the 3 things you could do. So there was like a pub menu you could do, which is very, very different.
I didn't think we could pivot to the pub menu because we had to prepay.
We had to prepay. We booked this 90 days in advance.
Right.
Had to prepay $100 deposit per person, and it was a fixed menu. So you could choose between the land and sea or the vegetarian. And at first we were a little about that. They got very flexible, and they did let me
sample from both the vegetarian menu and the sea portion of the land and sea.
Because Elle's pescatarian. So the lobster and the scallops, she absolutely wanted to try and didn't want to just have a bunch of mushrooms.
And that ended up being the best thing on the menu, was the lobster and the scallops. So it was a 9-course meal.
9 courses. And they gave us an extra course to start, remember?
Oh, that was like a little. That was part of the 9. I think.
No, I think that was an extra one. The one with the little
nibblies,
the little jicama nibblies.
I thought that was 9. Anyway, it was very many
9 courses.
Yeah, but they were itty bitty little nibblies to begin with, and some of the courses, meh.
Could take it. So the total thing was 180 with no with the fixed menu,
And
no drinks were included with that. They had, if you wanted to pair the wine for each of the courses, it was like an additional $100. We opted not to do that because we live in wine country, and quite frankly, I'm wined out by the time we go to the wine and dine. So we had a couple of cocktails. We actually wound up splitting the cocktail.
We split the cocktail because it was $20.
Yeah, and it was big.
It was plenty.
But yeah, some of the courses loved. Others were like, what?
Yeah. I mean, there was one I downright hated. And that was where I switched to the vegetarian menu, and it was a mushroom. And I don't hate on mushrooms. I'm like, my husband absolutely hates mushrooms. I don't hate mushrooms. It was overly salty. It was chewy.
I'm sorry. It was ugly.
It was ugly. It was kind of coolly presented. That was the only thing that was cool about it. It was kind of coolly presented and banana leaves and stuff. But it was a really weird dish. And
you didn't really enjoy it.
And I hated it, really. It was didn't enjoy it. And then the other one that we both disliked was this. It was supposed to be a soup. And it was supposed to have octopus in it, and we both requested no octopus because of remarkably bright creatures. We
and
do
just
not
octopus are smarter than us. We are not eating ourselves no octopus. So I'm all for. I understand the chef has a vision, and you're supposed to stick with that. That was when I put my foot down. I said, in the ceviche, do not put the octopus.
But that was the only thing we requested out of it. And you're not a huge like clam eater or anything like that. I ate the clams. I ate the.
Well, it was fishy smelling.
It was fishy smelling.
It was always my understanding that if it smells fishy, that's not a good thing.
It was, again, overly salty, I feel like. The broth was overly salty. It wasn't even really like a soup. It just sort of like
they
had a drizzle over the top.
The presentation, so that's the other thing. Every one of the dishes, except for Elle's mushroom thing. Cap or whatever that thing was, were beautiful. You know, the edible greens and flowers, the flowers shaped when they had like the jicama or other vegetables were cut out.
Right.
And you on the caviar, they placed the tiniest.
That beet dish was amazing.
Yeah.
Both in taste and presentation.
But I don't like beets.
I know she doesn't like beets, but I love beets, and it was delicious. So there was, and one interesting thing. So this is, again, Michelin star, supposed to be like the best service ever. And when it came for like the main course, the options were the beef, the rabbit, or my bad mushroom. And so they were supposed to be bringing me my bad mushroom, and they brought me the rabbit by mistake. And so that was a huge thing. And you could tell it was a huge thing for them because they brought it out and they immediately were like, oh my God. And they brought us free champagne, which was kind of nice.
So because it took them about 5 minutes to rectify it.
Right.
And quite honestly, the rabbit didn't look like rabbit. It was, so Elle could have dove into that and started eating it
and realized I'm eating a dead bunny,
truffly kind of thing. So looking at you wouldn't immediately go, oh, that's not what I'm supposed to be eating.
Yeah, I literally picked up my fork and was about to take a bite, and they were like, wait.
But he saw that it matched. My son was with us, and he had ordered the rabbit. So when she saw hers matched his, is when it occurred to you that it was not your right dish. So that was a little bit of a fumble on our part. You know, to err is human,
right?
But
I didn't make a big deal out of it. I was like, oh. Whoops. Okay.
And they gave us an extra dessert. They were very gracious.
Yeah. So I had seen on the regular menu had some sort of orange. What was it? The orange with.
Oh yeah, the little orange glass glow. Panna cotta.
Panna cotta. That's right. And then on the vegetarian menu was a chocolate something tort. And you know, I do like me some chocolate. So I had asked, kind of after the fact, I should have asked sooner, could I have the chocolate? And he originally said, oh, they've already started making all three of the orange torts or orange
panna cotta.
Panna cotta, sorry. But then they did bring me the chocolate, so I was very happy with that. So by screwing up, we actually ended up with free champagne and
the desserts,
free dessert.
And the food, much of it was so beautiful. We'll post on Instagram pictures of our
dessert
favorite.
was amazing.
The dessert was really, really pretty. Our favorite dish, well, I guess there's two, but I'd say the scallop. And the scallop, they pounded out into the shape of he called it the chancla, which means sandal in Spanish. And it was like a long
flip-flop.
Looked like a flip-flop. And then it was underneath it was like a verde. Phenomenal. The other phenomenal thing, and this is going to make us sound so basic, but there was bread.
Oh, the bread. Oh my, totally forgot about the bread.
Black bean bread. And they made a point of saying it was the chef's mother's recipe.
It was unbelievably
We
delicious.
should have eaten more bread.
And we sent away the extra bread because with the
We're like, we have 4 more courses.
the
We can't
entrees
find
were
bread.
coming, and I was like, oh, that's okay. I need to save room. And then I ended up not eating my entree. I was like, damn it,
Where's the bread?
where's my bread? Because it wasn't just the black bean bread was amazing on itself, and then it was some sort of butter with something, artichoke or something.
Yeah, it was some sort of butter blend.
Infused with something else, and I wish I had paid more attention.
know.
That was my biggest
Our
mistake.
waiter was a mumbler too.
I didn't think he was a
He was a
mumbler.
little bit of a low talker when he was telling, or maybe it was because we had such shitty
We had
seats.
such a terrible
such poor
table.
seats.
Yeah.
At the restaurant that was often
Our
drowned
waiter
out.
was lovely, though. He was
Yes.
wonderful. He was very nice, very made us feel at home, made us
Yes.
feel, didn't make me feel stupid.
But if you didn't tell us we were at a Michelin star restaurant, I guess throughout this whole experience, I wouldn't have said we ate at a Michelin star restaurant.
Exactly. And
it felt
was
like just
the
a
price.
nice restaurant.
It was the price of a Michelin star restaurant. So I guess I was expecting a little bit more.
Yeah.
And was a little disappointed. The only cool thing is at the end of the meal, he said, would you like to come and tour the kitchen? And what was amazing about that is you expect to go into a kitchen of a Michelin star restaurant or any major restaurant and have it be like Gordon Ramsay, where it's like, yes, chef.
Yeah.
Yes, chef.
Loud
blah, blah, blah.
and cacophonous and,
Right.
and just hectic.
And
This
it was
so
so
serene.
quiet and serene. No, sorry, bud. But come on.
Yeah, the dog has decided to jump up on the
This is the puppy.
podcast couch.
He's a sweet boy, but he doesn't quite understand that not everybody wants how much does
All
he
the
weigh?
time.
50-pound dog in there.
He's probably pushing 50.
Yeah, 50 pounds of dog in their lap. And
But
he's a sweet boy.
The tour of the kitchen
Was cool.
was fabulous. And I think we mentioned there was kind of 3 choices you could make. So you had sort of like the bar where you could have had our menu a la carte and picked what you wanted, which in retrospect, I would have liked to do that.
Yeah.
The pre-fee, which we did. And then the third option was this thing called Chef's Table. And I think that was like $400 a person. And we saw where the Chef's Table people sit. You are literally, there are 6 chairs right up against the kitchen prep people and where everything's happening. And so they would be making your meal and you would actually get to see it.
And if you're big into like cooking shows or cooking and you really want to see how things are made, that would be a cool option. It's not my ish, but I think it would be a cool option for somebody. Like it would be a great gift for somebody who's really into that sort of thing. And the last thing that happened is they took us to where they make the desserts and they gave us each a little tiny. Now, by this time, we were stuffed, so we didn't really need it.
Mr. Creosote, wafer thin mint was going to do us in.
But it was a tiny little ice cream cone that was lime sorbet with tahini on the top. So it was a really lovely little, just a treat to leave the kitchen with. And it was nice.
Yeah.
Nice touch, I thought.
So
the
overall,
kitchen
we're
tour.
glad we did it. Would we go again?
No.
Probably not.
No. I'd rather go to Gordon Ramsay's
Hell's Kitchen
which
in
is
our
what, a
Pala
third of the
Casino.
price? Or
And then, maybe our palates aren't sophisticated enough for it or what have you, but did not feel
Totally possible in my
our
case.
total bill was like
700, 750?
Yeah, 750.
Yeah.
I did realize after the fact. So gratuity was automatically added,
Oh.
20%, and then I tipped on top of that.
Oh.
But not that much.
So you owe me money.
I think that's why we got the kitchen tour.
For doing bad math. You owe me money. No, I'm
Well,
kidding.
it was dark. I couldn't see. If you looked at the receipt, because I was looking, I'm like, I bet you there's some sort of mandatory gratuity. They didn't have it as a bottom line. It was up top.
Yeah, and what's funny is when we got there, it was still light outside, and at that point we could see what was going on in the restaurant. It was much nicer, and then it started to get dark, and then we realized the ambient light, what's that? Ambient light was way too low because part of the thing is the presentation. We could barely see our food.
It might have been our bad table location also. Other people had little pendant lights over the
that's
table.
true. We got bad.
We're going to bitch about it. We should have said something at the time. And
I
normally,
almost did.
Normally I would.
But it was a Michelin star restaurant. I was like, oh, is there a bad table in the house? Yes,
there
there
was.
is.
There was a bad table
We
in
found
the
out there is a bad table in the house. So.
Again, glad we did it. Wouldn't do it again.
No.
And we were going to go to, there's a 2-star restaurant called Addison that is, I think, more French based near us, and we were going to go do that one, and its fixed menu was like $2.50. We've put that on hold for now.
Maybe someday.
Yeah, we know the boys. No, my husband, Mr. Taco Bell, would not have enjoyed this.
And the sad thing is, my husband loves the idea of a Michelin star restaurant. He loves, what's the movie, Chef, and he loves Burnt, and he loves all those kind of movies about cooking. And he doesn't particularly cook that much, but he likes the idea of it. His problem is he hates mushrooms. And on a vegetarian, he's more of a vegetarian than a pescatarian even. Yeah. And the problem with a vegetarian menu is they replace meat with mushrooms all the time. And so for him to pay $250 to go to a meal where half of it he won't like is kind of just ridiculous. Yeah, not going to happen.
But again, fun, good time. Good time was had by all.
Yeah.
Definitely put us in food coma.
Yeah.
I mean, 9 courses. Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Too much food. But good.
So another thing that we wanted to talk about is we're in the midst of local elections around here. So I think
the
primaries. March 4th, I think, is when our ballots are due. So we were all sent our at-home ballots. And what a cluster that is.
I generally like to research. I don't like to just vote randomly, I'm just going to vote party line. I like to research the different candidates for everything so we can find out. We've had something happen in our local politics with our school board has been in the news.
We made national news and not in a good way.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Temecula's made national news for
a few things.
3 rather not unsavory things.
But
I've been clicking a pen sitting here, and our producer,
in case you wondered what that noise was,
took the pen away from me. I no longer have my
your clicky
Flair,
pen.
my Bic Flair pen.
Yeah, but so we don't just want to click people's
or ignore the ones, because what I've done in the past, and maybe you have too, is if there's one I don't know about, I'm not going to guess.
I won't.
I will leave it blank. And part of the reason these batshit crazy 412 church people got elected was because people like us didn't know, and they in turn told their congregation, and they all came out and voted, and our school board got this lopsided 3 people who controlled the school board and were not the sentiment of the popular public.
Right.
And everyone's like, well, you voted him in. It's like, I didn't vote him in. Did you vote him in? Well, it was one of the ones I ignored. I didn't know what it was.
And so they had this weird population of people that knew who, enough to vote. Anyway, it's been embarrassing for our.
They got recalled. I mean, it's that bad.
Yeah.
The state of California sued them. There's lawsuits aplenty over it.
Right. They're just doing a lot of things that are not. And it's not a religious thing. It's a crazy thing. It's nothing against people's religions at all. It's really behavior that is not really sane, I don't think.
No,
it's not in the best interest of the public school system.
Banning textbooks and stuff like that. But
so I research, and I like to look at it comes with a booklet. Our absentee ballots come with a booklet, and normally in the booklet it has a little description of each one of the people and what they believe in, who supports them, and then it has the ballot measures and a little description of the ballot measures. This year we have the presidential options, which it depends on what.
We have 3 different ballots across all of us.
We have 2 in my house, and you have 3.
Republican. My husband has Democrat, and my son had Independent. So we got to see all 3 different ballots.
And I have a Democrat, and my husband's an Independent. But and so you have those descriptions of those candidates. We have the Senate race, and we have those descriptions, and then there's about 6 other races. There's a judgeship, there's a Congress person. I think there's no descriptions at all in this booklet.
Good luck finding them too.
And there's probably 8 candidates on the Congress side. So I'm like, what am I have to look up each one of these websites and try to figure out if they're telling the truth and all this sort of thing? It's crazy. And then the ballot measure, there's only one ballot measure. It's a 100-page booklet. 75 pages of the booklet are devoted to this one ballot measure. Who's going to read that?
Yeah.
It's
and
like,
all the trees that died for her to
it's
get mailed
insane. And I don't understand why. It's normally the booklet's pretty good. It has all the candidates, it has the ballot measures, a little description, who supports it, why they support it, blah, blah, blah. This is like, it makes zero sense.
out.
And
Elle's doing the homework, and I'm going to cheat off of
she's
her.
going to cheat off which I always cheat off your homework, so it's okay.
Yes,
But-
because I've been putting it off, thinking it would be, a couple days before I can do it. And she's like, have you even begun to look at this? And I'm like, nah, I'll be able to. No, it's not easy.
yeah. And I was pretty impressed. Like you said, you got a postcard from.
One of the candidates gave us a postcard, and it said, hey, if you align with me, here's who I align
And
with.
I need to see
found-
that postcard because I do align with
my
them.
family
so.
threw it out. So I don't know which one of my family members threw it
I
out.
Googled. I tried to find it online.
Me too.
And I can't
All
find
I
it
kept
online.
seeing was his endorsements. But like that to me would have been the most worthwhile thing. Because
Yeah.
I know you use a website for the more national
Side
campaign
With,
called
yeah.
I Side With that
And
you
this
found
is
really helpful.
this is a really cool website, and I'm pretty sure it is nonpartisan. I think it's run by somebody, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
It basically has all of the issues you could ever think of. You think of any issue.
Isn't it like it's
gun
a
control,
quiz and they ask
abortion.
you what's your stand on this?
Yes,
What's your stand on
and
that?
you can also you're taking this quiz, and it also tells you how important is that. So if it's something that doesn't matter to me, I put this isn't very important, but like the environment is very important to me, I put high on that. Things like abortion issues, it has no effect on me whatsoever, but I feel strongly about it, so it's like mildly important to me. Things like that. And you can rank these things, and then it also so you get all the way through this quiz, and then it tells you who you side with.
And percentages. So it's not like it just spits out one candidate.
Right.
It'll be like, you're 78% with X, you're 56%, and here's where you deviate.
Right.
So you can kind of reassess, well, is that really that important to me? What's the big delta?
Right.
And it's a pretty cool thing.
It is a cool website, but they only cover the presidential and the Senate. They also, too, did not have Congress or any of certainly the local, because I imagine that would be a gazillion different people in different states. But they did have the Congress thing in our district, but then they said information still to come. So maybe this website's not up to date, but I mean, they have all of the candidates for president on there. So I don't know.
I just can't help but feeling during elections that picking candidates from our choices is like trying to pick your favorite STD.
Yes.
But we can't put our heads in the sand because you can see the bad consequences that come from that. But
right.
Shouldn't be this hard.
I know everyone I know we're baffled by our options again this year. It's just crazy.
It's only going to get worse as the year progresses.
Right.
We were talking about with our friend group and even just acquaintances. I know at work I try really, really hard. And I think I've done a good enough job because the very, very Republican pro-Trump people think I'm on their side, and then the anti-Trump people think I'm on their side. So I'm getting like political feedback from different people.
Because you're either pro-Trump or anti-Trump. You're not actually a Biden fan. No one is actually.
Right.
No.
And so,
It's sort of
I'm
sad.
obviously
It's
hiding
sad.
my predilections there well because both camps seem to think I'm on their side. So I'm being a really good Switzerland because work is definitely no place to mix that.
Even friend group, it's hard. It's hard with your friends. Family is really hard. For a long time, my family was really split in half, and I think after,
Are they still?
Not anymore. No.
Okay.
No. Everybody kind of after the last president. I won't say any names. Not this one, the last one was. I think they realized how crazy can be. And that's,
I don't know, moving to Canada is looking pretty good.
Moving to Canada. Although if you ask, what's his name, he'll say, no, Canada doesn't want you.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Yes. Ryan Reynolds will say,
no, go away.
Don't act like Canada's an option, people. It isn't.
Yeah,
sadly.
want you.
Mexico? I do know some people that are moving to Mexico.
Well, and then the one from that one women's group I was in, they moved to Portugal, Lisbon.
I actually know
She's
somebody that moved
happy
to
as a
Portugal
lark.
too. Yep.
Living in Lisbon.
I have a client moved to Portugal.
Yeah, well, who knows?
They have great mountain biking.
Depends on what's
You could probably get Ed there.
And I think that their climate isn't that much different.
I think it's
than
really
ours.
similar to here. That's probably why people from here like
we're
it.
have to put a pin in that. Moving to Portugal if XYZ happens.
I don't know. Portuguese is a very tough language. As I mentioned before, I'm having enough trouble with English.
We're still progressing with our Duolingo. Got
You
my
are?
streak. I'm up to, what am I at now? Still 78? Wait, 78 days? Where's my Duolingo?
You should be saying that in Spanish if you're truly on a streak.
Yeah. Well, Duolingo's 81. I'm at 81 with my Duolingo.
What is 81 in Spanish?
81 days. 81.
There you go.
There we go. Pulled that out of nowhere. Whoever goes it.
Putting you on the spot.
Yeah. So pretty disenfranchised with politics. Not sure which STD I'm going to pick. So part of what our drink of the show is the We Are Screwed driver.
I love that.
Yes. So it's basically a screwdriver, 1 part vodka, 2 parts fresh orange juice, because we have some nice oranges growing here these days.
This time of year.
But of course, I've got to add the little twist. I do a splash of heavy cream. It kind of turns it a little dreamsicle-like.
Or what was the things at the mall?
Oh, Orange Julius.
Orange Julius. It turns it into an Orange Julius.
There's a true Gen X thing.
Yeah, that's a Gen X thing.
Orange Julius's.
Anybody remember the Orange Julius?
Actually, it's merged with Dairy Queen. So if you go into Dairy Queen, they have a little sliver of the Orange Julius.
You can get an Orange Julius
You can get an Orange Julius at our Dairy Queen.
I don't even like orange juice, but I always did like an Orange Julius.
Go to our Dairy Queen. You'll see it's a little sidebar menu, Orange Julius. I like to garnish that with a cherry, of course, a popped one, and an orange slice.
Nice. Yeah, it's all about the garnishes.
We Are Screwed driver.
Nice. It's a good one.
So the real theme of our today after we
even though we
got on
bitched
all
about our
these
restaurant, bitched about our politics,
we're in a negative space.
Yeah.
Is we're going to pivot to something a little lighthearted, fluffy, and some of our favorite makeup products for our very low maintenance and active lifestyle.
And I want to preface this by saying, if you see a picture of me or if we ever on screen, don't ever think that I think I know what I'm doing with makeup, because I don't. I am still trying to figure out how to put makeup on my face at the ripe old age of 56.
Well, we are going to post some pictures on our Instagram. So if you want to check out the We Love Soup,
but it's more just like
_podcast Instagram.
What I found doesn't sit in the wrinkles, and what I found I like for other reasons, and we'll get into that why we like.
So how
like.
Elle prepared for class today is she literally took her arm and just swiped it across her bathroom into a little baggie, our favorite flip and tumble bag.
Grocery bags. Yes.
Grocery bags. And she showed up. She said, I just brought it all.
Because I didn't do... This is where Dylan was saying she's going to copy my homework about the election. I copy her homework about these podcasts. Every week she's like, let's prepare. Let's think about what we're going to say. No, I don't. I'm not very good at doing homework, period. And like even we were talking about homework for... the election, homework for tax season, I've been putting off and putting off and putting off. And I just finally did my homework for tax season.
After TurboTax yelled at me with a little, by this time last year, you were almost done message. I at least logged on yesterday. I got a new computer yesterday. I didn't tell you that.
Oh, you did not tell me that.
Yeah, my Mac was churning and making that overheat noise, and I barely use it for anything except for Quicken. And I'm like, my gosh, if it goes out during tax time, I got to do something about this. So I quick loaded everything up to the cloud, went to the Apple store yesterday and dropped some money on a new Mac, and it did set up, God love Apple, the plug and play easy transfer within an hour. It was all set, and I was good to go. So I was then inspired to at least start, and I logged into TurboTax, did the verify your information, yada yada, and entered in a couple of the W-2s. But that's as far as I've gotten.
I have a tax accountant do my taxes, but I still have to send her the stuff and download the stuff and get it all gathered together and tell her what we need and all of that. And I have both my personal taxes and our business taxes, our personal and my business taxes. And fortunately, the business taxes, I think she just kind of gets onto my account and does the thing. QuickBooks.
Yeah, because my husband uses the same accountant. And so letting him manage that, don't even know what he's given Stephanie yet. Could be scary that he's not usually prepared for class, because we don't have extensions this year. First time in 4 years. That was another realization I had before we get into our lighthearted makeup. Do you realize it was this time 4 years ago that COVID we were like, oh shit.
4 years ago. Oh, that's right. March.
It was by St. Patty's Day, everything was shut down, and it was complete mayhem. So we're coming up on the 4-year anniversary.
That's crazy. 4 years.
And I remember
insane.
my daughter at the time, she was living in New York. She was living right next to Mount Sinai Hospital in Columbus Circle. And this was in mid-February. And she's like, Mom, this is bad. And she was teaching in the Bronx at the time. And they were still had school going at that point. And she's like, they have body bags lined up on the street. And she took a picture. She was in the 6th floor out her window. And, you were hearing at the time, some of the news was getting pretty dark. They started doing the tally numbers. But where we were at, it wasn't we weren't locked down or anything. And I'm like, we got to get you out of there. This is like the real thing. And then by the time we hit that first week in March, I think we realized
this is real.
This is going to be a worldwide
scary time
tragedy. But
in our
4 years
history.
ago, because I still think like we're coming off of, even my company calls things, the COVID hangover. Our results are impacted by the COVID hangover, which makes you think. And I feel like COVID was maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, but to know that's 4 years ago.
Yeah,
they're lost years.
They are lost years.
Because
there's so many times when you're like, oh, that was like a couple years ago, and you realize, nope, that was during
that was
COVID. That was
2019.
4 years ago. That was, when we did that trip or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, okay.
And we digress, which is
back to fluffy makeup.
Fluffy makeup things. So Elle cleared her counter,
and some of the stuff we repeat on.
Some of it we repeat on. So why don't we start off with
all right. So this. So this was given to us. We do a thing every Christmas with our group of friends. It's called Favorite Things, where you buy however many people are in the group. So I think 8 is what in our case. So you buy 8 of your favorite things under $20 or under $25, and you wrap them up and you give
or
one
$5 depending on who you are.
But and so this was given to us by our friend Sandy, and it's turned out to be one of the best things ever. It's dermatology.
But it's dermatology, take out all the vowels. So the name of the company is the word dermatology, but take out the E, take out the O.
Yes, DRMTLGY.
All caps.
And it's a tinted moisturizer. It's an SPF 46. And I have skin
46.
I know. Why 46? I have skin cancer in my family. My sister, my brother, and my mother have all had melanomas. Unfortunately, are okay from them. But I have to watch my skin. I'm very fair skinned, and I'm not great at wearing sunscreen. And I used to hardly ever wear sunscreen on my face because I just didn't like how it felt under my makeup and things like that. And this stuff is nice and light. It has a little bit of tint, so you can wear it very light tint. So you can kind of wear it like foundation, and I kind of do sometimes.
With the next product we'll talk about, it pairs really well.
It pairs really well with that. So yeah, this is a great one. And then
super affordable too. So I mean, it's a large size. So what she gave us.
So this was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
we got
1.7 fluid ounces, and they always are having little deals. Like I think right now they're running a spring thing 20% off. But I think the retail for this was like $25.
Right.
And it's you use just a little bit of it sparingly. What's nice too is it doesn't settle in a cakey kind of way. Initially, you put it on, you may feel like, I'm a little shiny, I'm a little greasy. Give it a few minutes, maybe use some blotting or whatever, but
it's also not drying. Like I was buying sunscreen that is made for faces, and a lot of those have alcohol in them to keep them from feeling heavy on your face. And it was super drying, and I have a problem with dry skin. So yeah, it's just
the
really
first
great
ingredient on here is water, and then of course you start going into the crazy.
Right, and it might just be watered down.
Niacinamide is in there, and but I've seen too just online. It not only us raving about it, a lot of people rave about it. Dermatologists rave about it because it's makeup with sunscreen. So you could argue that really what it is really good sunscreen for your face.
Right.
But it has
a little bit of makeup to it.
Yeah.
And then I went to my dermatologist and she had like a deal. And so I bought the Elta MD version of the same thing. It's an SPF 40. It is a tinted sunscreen. And I also like that version. I think I like the dermatology version better. But this one is also very good. So if you can't find
yours, you have to pick a shade or something?
No, it's just
neutral.
It's also a very light.
Yeah, dermatology, it's one It's a one-stop shop thing, and unlike Brandy Melville clothes, it legitimately is a one-stop shop thing.
Right. Oh, and before I put either of those on, I wanted to mention, I don't know if you remember
her 805,
the 805, the beer, and or the 405, which is the freeway. It is actually 302 is the product I use, which is a serum that I use underneath everything. But that's so funny that 302 is the brand.
How we got to something 05? Well,
yeah, and that's a natural product. Has a lot of vitamin C in it and things like that. I got
Is
it
it a prescription? Like, did you have to get?
No, I got it from my esthetician.
But it's not something you can get like at Sephora or
I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure.
I care about how things smell.
What I don't know is if you can get it. Just squirt some on yourself. Okay. Don't just trying to pull the.
I was taking apart her jar.
And the other thing I like about this 302 is that it's in glass, and
it's kind of vanilla.
Yeah, I'm big into, like, I hate plastics, and I even though the other two products I mentioned are in big plastic containers, this little stuff, the 302 stuff, comes in glass, and I really like that. So I also use
refillable,
but I also use their vitamin C drops and they have another vitamin drops, and they have one that's a lightening drop that's supposed to help with the spots. Does okay. Nothing really takes care of those. So those are kind of the moisturizer and then the foundation, and then I also use a product we got at our old spa, which is a Murad product, and it's called.
Now these you can get at Ulta's.
Yes,
and Sephora.
It's called Regenerist Targeted Wrinkle Corrector, and this comes in a little tube and has a little metal thing, and you kind of slide it over. Like, it's really good for the. Even though I have never smoked a day in my life, well, I can't say that I smoked in high school, but even though I
hasn't smoked tobacco.
Yes, it's true. But I have terrible like lip wrinkles, and it's really good for that, I think, and it really, really helps with those sort of things. Somebody said it's from drinking through a straw, which I do religiously, is drink through a straw. It's like puckery. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the loss.
What it is, but.
Plumpiness there, but
anyway,
it's a cute tube, easy applicator,
exactly.
Not super expensive. A little goes a long way, type thing. I think that tube was what, $30?
Yeah, it does last a long time.
So don't be shocked by that, like the price point.
I think it might have been $50, but it still lasts for a very long time. So, and then my next step,
Laura Geller, right?
Is no. I still subscribe to the. Call me a Gen Xer. I like to put white under my eyes, which is kind of a weird thing, but to cover up the bags and the dark spots under your eyes. And so I used to use all Bare Minerals products, and I still use, it's called Bright Eye. Or Well Rested, same thing. And I just use a little bit of this. It's a powder, loose powder that I put under my eyes.
It's got a little bit of sheen to it, right?
Yes, and it's kind of brightens up under my eyes. And then we both use, or do you still use? Laura Geller.
I still use Laura Geller,
right?
And it's, if you are on Instagram at all, you'll see a lot of Laura Geller either ads pop up or influencers that talk about it. And it was one of those that were like, oh, we got to try that. And I call it a success. There's a whole line of different powders.
It's replaced Bare Minerals for me. And I never thought anything would, because I feel like Bare Minerals kind of sits in your creases a little more.
It does exactly what you don't
want. And Laura
want.
Geller doesn't sit in my creases quite as much. And I
a very good price point as well. I mean, this large tube. She has got several different things. The powders. She also has like a primer, which they call
is
spackle.
Funny. So I love the spackle. So the primer is an interesting thing. I had never used a primer before, and I felt like my makeup was always coming off and not really sticking, and I was getting those big, wrinkle crevices and things like that. And I think we went to Sephora together, and I was like, okay, so there's two things I need to get. I want to get some sort of primer, and I want to get a shading, because I watch all these TikTok videos. And contouring thing. So I did end up getting the contouring thing I got was Milk makeup, and it's just a tiny little tube of contour, and I really, really like that. I didn't think I would when I first got it, because I'm like, how am I going to blend that? But it actually works really well. And then come home from that, I think I did buy like a tiny little thing of some sort of
was it the Smashbox one?
I don't know what it was. I ended up buying. But then I got home and I realized that when I had first ordered my Laura Geller kit, they sent me a primer, and it's a huge tube of primer. And so I started using it, And I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like it really works to kind of fill in those wrinkles and hold my makeup on my face.
They have a glowy one that might replace your bare minimals. It's a spackle that's got like it's a glowy. It's got like a
Glowy, sparkly?
Yeah, well, not sparkly, but it's definitely meant to kind of
Brighten?
light deflect. Yes,
Brighten.
light,
Okay.
right. Because the thing about Laura Geller, it's a series of pressed powders. I think it's even made in Italy of all places.
Oh.
And so you can get like baked brighten and glow. They have a blush, and they market it as use this instead of cream foundations. And it is. You can.
It is kind of creamy. Even though it's a powdery.
Yeah, it comes with some nice little brushes.
I love the brush.
But what works great is that paired with our light, like dermatology foundations, and then the primer. You can get like a full face look without looking like you got cakey
and
makeup.
not feeling like you got cakey makeup on.
And then you got all sunscreens. I think hers even has
a little bit. So I'm doubling up on the sunscreen, which is I need. So that's a good one. And then I have a brow pencil by
is it the Better Than Sex brow pencil or something like that?
it's Goof Proof. Benefit.
Benefit.
I love the Benefit brow pencil. It matches my eyebrows. We both had our eyebrows.
They call it tattooing.
I've had actually real
microbladed.
tattooed. You have had success with microblading. Microblading on me, I picked off and it picked back off. But I had
to get mine redone.
I had mine tattooed so long ago; they're now gray, and so I definitely have to brow. And then I should have brought I did find a really cool little kit where you can dye your eyebrows and your eyelashes a tint, and.
Is this the Amazon one you found?
Yeah. It's a
the
really
little
good little kit. It's not the capsules. It's better than that one. The capsules are messy. This one was like little tubes. So it's even better. And I really like it. And I wish I could remember what brand it is. Because it's easy to use. It's not as messy. Yada, yada, yada. And then the eyeliners I like are these Sephora. What is it? It's like a crayon. And they go on really creamy and they seem to stay on my eyes, which when you have hooded lids, having things stay where they belong is really, really tricky. I have that problem. I used to have that problem with mascaras all the time. And I did buy what is this one? The blue.
Thrive
is
another Instagram thing. You've probably seen a million. Tube mascara, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want
liquid lash extensions. So again, I was trying to cut back on my lash extension budget, and I thought, I'll try this liquid lash extensions. On me, it just flakes off into my eyes, and my eyes become red and irritated when I use it. So I went back to, now that my eyelashes are longer from the Latisse that I've been using, I went back to my, this is L'Oreal Double Extend. Has a little white thing on the one side so that you're supposed to lengthen with the white side, and then
it's like a fibrous
gel. It's the tubes I think they make. And this has been the only mascara that will stay on my eyes without flaking off, rubbing under my eyes,
and it's cost effective. I mean, the Thrive is like $25.
Yes, exactly. And I think this is like $12 or Amazon cheapy. I think I used to be able to get it in the drugstore, and I looked for it, and I couldn't find it because I couldn't remember the name of it, because that's how I roll, or
it's behind all sorts of armed gates, and you need
or it just doesn't. Maybe they don't carry the L'Oreal stuff anymore. I don't know. And then what else do I have? I use a nice, because we have blue eyes, so I like a coppery or a gold, kind of copper. Is it copper? Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you call that copper? Copper eyeshadow. This is an Urban Decay I've had forever, but I've also I like the MAC.
Yeah.
I also like the MAC eyeliners and lip liners. Lipsticks are good too. Again, we could have a whole show about lipsticks.
Yeah, lip shit. I'll touch a little bit on.
Well,
lip
here's my favorite lip shit.
What's
my
your
lip shit
current favorite lip
is
shit?
a Lancome Juicy Tubes. Very moisturizing. I have trouble with dry lips, so it doesn't stay on great. It's not. I've been trying like dye all the stains.
Yes, I'm a big stain person.
Those tend to dry my lips out. We did go and have a custom.
Yeah, so there's a place called the Lip Bar, and the Lip Bar is, what is the underlying company? Is it Milk?
I don't remember either.
Yeah. Anyway, so they have them across the country, and you go there, and they will custom blend while you sit at this little lip bar. lip shade for you.
Yeah.
And, they play around. You do like 5 or 6. You get to choose your scent. You can choose the little container.
You can choose what
what's
type.
engraved on it. Do you want a full-on lipstick? Do you want a more of a lip gloss?
And I felt like
tinted, like chapsticky kind of thing. And then you choose your scent. And it's fun. It's spendy.
It's very spendy.
If you were to go to Sephora and buy this brand, and why am I blanking on what the brand is?
I know. I'm trying to think of what the brand is.
Bite.
That's
Bite
right.
brand. So you can buy Bite already with their blended things. And I think in the Sephora, that's about $25 for it. Here, you're going to spend about $40. They'll try to sit you.
60.
Well, because you get, if you did like 2, right? I did
do
a little
shoe.
package.
I only did 1.
Like I did the lipstick. Well, anyway, it's spendy.
It's spendy.
It's fun. You can see a lot of woo girls there with their bridal parties, getting it done. You need to make an appointment for the most part. But they, the cute little container, if you want to have a party lipstick, and you'll always know what your lipstick is. And you truly get to pick, like, that amount of red, that amount of blue undertone, and what have you. So we enjoyed doing that to get accustomed.
It's kind of fun to do. It would be a fun bridal shower
Definitely.
thing to
It's
do,
usually
or birthday party or whatever. What I realized is that I basically made a color that was exactly like what I would have picked out in a store and had a million tubes of, because as we've said, we have a little collection of lip stuff going on at home. And yeah, so for me it was, and then I had this thing where it was, for some reason, my lips were like blistering, and I thought it was because it happened at the same time right after we had gotten this done. It turns out I'm allergic to stevia, and I had been drinking a lot of stevia sodas, and that's what it was. But
So,
I blamed it on,
for a while.
so I actually put it in a drawer. I was like, I can't even use this. I should give it to Dylan. But now I'm glad I didn't, because now I need to pull that back out again. My $60 tube of lipstick.
Other lip shit that I have used now for about 5 years that I'm a big fan of is Senogen. So Senogen was like the original company that came out with the smudge proof, put it on, it lasts you all day stuff.
I'll let those dry my lips
Elle's
out so
right.
bad.
I mean, you put it on and you got to absorb the pain. Beauty is pain. And the different colors, all the different saturation, not cheap. They're about $25 at it's a liquid like tube, and then you got to put a gloss on top of it because you cannot wear it the traditional lips Senogen by itself. But damn, that stuff lasts.
Have you ever been inspired to try? Have you seen the one where when you paint it on, it looks purple?
Oh, I have some. Yes.
Oh, you do? What did you think of it?
So I picked the wrong shade. Well, I mean, it depends.
That's what I'm worried about, because the shades look very bright.
Yes, and so even me, which I don't mind a good pop of pink and whatever, it's a pop of pink.
It's like
it's
pink.
fun. It works. It's a good stain. Does it last all day? I wouldn't say all day. You probably need to reapply. The longer you leave it sit in its purpley stage, the more saturated it gets. Mm-hmm. But the other thing about it and lip sense, you don't want to have your lips be chappy or too dry, because the way it's going to settle in there looks jank.
That's my problem with any of those stain type of lip stuff is they're
drying. They're heavily alcohol based.
Yeah, and they just sit in the crevices of my lips.
What did you think of the bee balm I gave you a couple?
Oh, I love bee balm. I use it every day.
Every night. I love the bee balm.
I put it by my desk, and so in the morning when I first wake up, that's the first thing on my lips.
That's a good one.
I have Vaseline by the side of my bed for overnight. I just put Vaseline on my lips. That's what my dermatologist actually told me to use for my overly dry lips.
Highly effective.
Yep.
Let's see. And then another lipstick brand, which I recently, I'm one of those, if I was on an island.
I know you've already said that.
It's the one thing I would bring is lip color. I have lip colors all throughout the house. I leave them everywhere I can go.
I used to always say eyeliner or mascara, but now that my eyelashes are a little bit longer, I don't know. I don't know what would be my only.
Well, I tried one again, inspired by the internet's Color the World.
Yeah. And
a couple unique things about them. They have a million colors. It's super affordable, and their containers, I mean, they have the luxe ones, but their basic containers are cardboard. So rather than plastic, and with pretty little designs on the cardboard, the colors are great. They're very moisturizing.
Sounds right up my alley. I
have to show you. You're not something you're going to put on. It's not a set it and forget it. So I've had to get used to that. The days I wear it, you're reapplying throughout the day, just like traditional lipstick. If I drank out of a glass, it's going to have lipstick on it.
Well, that's my Lancome Juicy.
So super moisturizing, very affordable. I ordered like 5 of them at a time because it was some internet thing, free shipping if you order X number. And like all the colors I got, some were maybe a little more frosty and felt like I was back in 7th grade.
I love those. You can give those to me.
And I even did order some of their Lux
frost
ones in the metal containers, and the metal containers are really pretty. So I highly recommend, go to the website, Color the World. They're also very, besides being eco-conscious, they donate a portion to something.
This is sounding familiar. I may have seen an ad for
you may have been targeted with an ad. Been trying it now for about 3 months, and definitely, like I said, you can play with. I like playing with makeup, and this you can play with makeup without spending a lot of money on it.
Nice.
And then one last brand that I also like is Color Science. And I was turned on to
another lip stuff.
No, Color Science is the face stuff.
Oh, the face stuff. I was like,
it's my powdered
did you do
sunscreen.
all lip stuff for your homework?
No, I didn't do all lip stuff, which would be typical of me.
Yes.
Color Science, I originally was turned on to it when my daughter was playing soccer years ago, and with the sweating and the sunscreen getting her eyes, came up with a powdered sunscreen that was actually very effective. And at the time, the only place you can get it was like the dermatologist. So we got it there. The little powder tube, very expensive. It's $50. You can be like, say what? But it comes with a built-in brush, and it is mattifying. It's fabulous sunscreen. And they have a whole line of other things now. So they have like their liquid sunscreens, and they have one that's called like Glow for your face. They have one that's called Flex, which it starts off white and you put it on your skin. It turns to your skin tone. And if you want mega good sunscreen, Color Science is a great brand, good for your skin. Dermatologists represent it. It's a little on the high side from price, but the product lasts a long time. I have those little tubes of sunscreen, and so don't be afraid.
At our age, a good sunscreen on your face could make the difference between looking like a handbag and not looking like a handbag. I hate it when I look like a handbag. The age spots are what get me. As soon as I start to tan at all, like even the artificial, like
the fake bake makes our age spots
glow.
Deepen.
They make my age spots come out in full force, and it's the worst thing. I don't think anything ages you more than age spots on your face.
Yeah, and then
I guess they're appropriately named. Oh, I got them on my arms too. I've kind of given up on the rest of my body.
Chest.
I've given up.
Age spots. Blah for age spots.
I didn't mention I have a Too Faced. This was this year's gift. I believe. Yeah, from the same person that gave us the.
Oh yeah. I think that was.
So she's good with the makeup, and it's a Too Faced Better Than Sex. It's an eyeliner. Better Than Sex is the name of the eyeliner.
Yes.
That is not my comment on it. But it is. It's a liquid eyeliner. And you said you're using it right now. I struggle with it. When you have hooded lids, I feel like a liquid liner, I have to keep my eyes closed for 15 minutes while it dries. Otherwise, as soon as I open my eyes up, the liquid liner is all over the underside of my flap, my nap flap. And so it just doesn't work for me. And you seem to have managed it. Maybe your flap is not as bad as my flap.
Or I just sit there for a longer time with it drying.
You're doing the hand wave. The
perpetual hand
I'm crying. No, but I like the idea of it, and I just haven't gotten it to work for me yet.
Not yet. So play around with makeup.
Yeah, and I have. It's funny. I just redid the my faucets in my bathroom. So I had to clean out from underneath every sink in my house. And that's a huge thing when you go through all of the, it's one thing to have your drawer of makeup.
The makeup graveyard.
Yes, exactly. So then you also have your old makeup and your old everything. And I have a whole drawer thing filled with old makeup. And I tried to be brutal. It's really hard to part with things.
Yeah, but a lot of this stuff has expiration dates. You don't.
I know. I'm putting this on my eye, and I should not be putting this on my eye.
It's got definitely. I want to say it's a 6-month expiration date, and Yeah, so that's how I chalk it up when I'm throwing things out. I'm like, I spent a lot of money on that, and I wore it.
I know. Well, like
twice.
eyeshadows, I used to have a big collection of MAC eyeshadows, and those things aren't cheap. The MAC, but it was maybe a color. Like was into grays for a while, and gray, and what am I going to do with them? They're expensive. I can't really get rid of them.
Yeah.
But will I ever wear them again? I don't know what to do with them.
What is the Maria Kondo? If it's not bringing you joy, man, you're
I
supposed
know.
to let it go.
And then all of the foundations I've tried over the years, and some of them again, you spend a ton of money on, and maybe I'll use. I always think maybe I'll use them again when these run out, or if I run out, or.
But the shades vary. So even what was something that was good for you throughout the year, of course, seasonally in your different color, but even something that was good 2-3 years ago, it's not, the shade's not right anymore. I find like our skin.
Well, and some of them, like the consistency of it ends up really gross. Yeah, and I definitely threw those away. But
I did like House Labs is another one I know right now that's a real raging popular foundation. What's cool about that's Lady Gaga's line.
Oh, that's right.
They will send you so you kind of do their little color quiz, and they'll send you 4 that are in like your family of palette, so that you can actually, and it's a generous size. It's a dollop.
Yeah, you gave me
nice
one,
little,
and I
one
still
of them,
haven't.
whoa, not mine.
Still haven't used it at all.
And that was very useful because you got to play with it. Because sometimes playing with it at the store under the incandescent lighting, and I don't know, it's just like that time of day. I want to know how it's going to go on with this, with my primer, yada yada. And
the lighting in Sephora is not great. It's funny. You would think that the lighting in Sephora would be perfect, and it's
the
not.
Same way. Bad lighting.
Right.
So I like that because it gave you enough really to wear it for a week for each of the colors it gave you. And then from that, like you would say, color 2 was close. And then if you went on their little site, you would say, was it too yellow? Was it too blue? And then they would refine and target you onto the full size bottle.
I've gone through the whole questionnaire on, I think you've tried it.
Il Maquillage.
Il Maquillage, however you say that. And I've gone through the whole questionnaire and what's my color, and even had taken pictures of myself and tried to do it. And then I at the price, I sort of balk and I just go, I just don't trust that this is going to be the color for me.
It got close for me. I have the 3 discards here because that's the other thing is they're really great about that stuff. And I guess you have to be when you're online makeup. The colors that were close but no cigar for me, and if you want to try
but
it, so
you didn't send it back, or you just
they don't require you to send it because once
you say I did,
it didn't work for
that
me. One made me look like I was jaundiced, or this one didn't work, and then I have them.
That probably would be perfect for me because I have sort of a jaundice colored skin. I'm very yellow.
I've been meaning to give them to you.
There used to be a line Shiseido, which I believe was an Asian line. And that matched my skin tone really, really well. I definitely have yellow undertones to my skin.
You're a closet Asian?
I'm closet Asian. You would never know by looking at it.
Did you dad serve?
I do have hooded lids.
Wars?
No.
Bad joke.
Bad joke, yes.
Let's see. So I think that's enough about today's makeup.
Yes.
Sounds good.
And again, disclaimer, don't look at me for makeup tips.
Say our soup of the show, Elle. I think this is your absolute favorite.
Oh my God, yeah, one of my favorite soups for sure.
And what is it?
Oh my God, you just told me.
I told you what your favorite
broccoli
soup
cheddar.
is.
Yes, you did. You did tell me, and 5 minutes later, and it's got
like,
again.
Ooh, broccoli cheddar. Do you have some for us tonight? And I'm like, don't have some made for tonight.
We do love Panera's version of broccoli cheddar. It's delicious.
Very good. So this recipe that we post on our gram is kind of taken from that with a little tweak. Good for you. Good soup. It's got a lot of things going for it.
Is it really good for you?
It's
a vat of cheese with a few vegetables.
It's like pouring Velveeta on your broccoli and eating it. But no, it's not. It's better for you than
that. Is like saying that Velveeta and Rotel tomatoes is good for you.
Yummy. But broccoli cheddar is definitely. We're not rainy anymore. We're still a little chilly at times here, and sun's setting just before 6. So a good soup is always appreciated.
Soup is good food.
Yes. Book recommendation. This is one we read probably a year and a half ago. So been out there for a while. as per usual, damn, this needs to be made into a movie.
Better make this into a movie, and it would be amazing.
Seriously.
Yeah, I can even see who would play.
I know. We were at book club when we talked about this when we were casting it. I think that was one of the questions, and we had a lot of fun with that. But
when I read, we can tell them what the book is, and then I'll.
The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid.
It's such an amazing book, and when I read, I see pictures in my head. I don't know what that says about me. It's like I'm watching a movie when I read. And so whenever it's, to me, a really good book is one that I can absolutely see as a movie, because you're just not even aware you're reading. You're visualizing, you're immersed in it. Yeah. And this is definitely one I saw
Easy
as a
read.
movie.
You like, it's rare that you get a book, even when you're in a great series, that you find yourself, I listen, Elle reads. I spend a lot of time during the day in front of a computer. I'm not going to be reading anything off. I listen. And so I often have a little different experience at our book club.
Because it also depends on who's reading it.
Yeah.
The voice.
So the voices you have. And it was one where I literally went and sequestered myself upstairs, and I must have been listening for 6 hours straight with it.
I believe that's how I read it.
It was 2 in the morning. I'm like, I got work tomorrow.
Right.
I got to put this down. It was just that good. And again,
super engaging,
been out about 2 years ago, out on Amazon, wherever you want. Super recommend Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Yes.
And then last but not least, songs that have been living rent free in our heads. Mine this week is She's a Rainbow by the Rolling Stones. And it came up on my playlist rotation, and just love the song. And I also love it even more because it's used in a really great episode of Ted Lasso.
And if you've not watched Ted Lasso,
get Apple TV just to get Ted Lasso.
We did, because these guys kept talking about it, and when I first started watching, I was like, I don't know anything about soccer. I don't like soccer.
Yeah, that would turn people off, but oh my God,
it's
character development.
Such a great show. The characters are all amazing.
And Hannah Waddingham,
I love
she's
her.
My inspiration.
She's my inspiration, life inspiration.
Like, I want to be her. Everything
I want to be
about her. Did you see at the was it the Grammys? One of the award shows, the purse she was carrying?
No.
She had her daughter made her a little cardboard purse out of, I think, maybe some box that something had been shipped in, and had colored it, and that was the handbag she carried.
I absolutely love her. She is absolutely.
And it looked perfect with what she was wearing.
She's gorgeous. She seems like she's a good person.
She's Rubenesque, so she's not with this, waifish.
I would say she's built like you. Very much. She's tall.
Yeah,
like you.
She's very tall. I think she's even taller.
I think she might be taller than you.
Yeah, I want to say she's over 6 feet.
I thought she was 6 feet. So she's not that much taller than you, but maybe she might be over 6 feet. But anyway,
she's always wearing heels.
She's just, I think she's younger than us though, so that might help with
she's
the
about
wrinkles.
That decade, but a curvy figure, just the way she wears her hair,
everything about her.
Yeah, everything about her.
Everything she wears on that show, I'm like,
voice.
Oh my God.
Her voice.
We
got a girl crush.
Yes,
and it's on Hannah Waddingham.
Definite.
And so that song is played in Ted Lasso.
A great episode,
and a fabulous episode of Ted Lasso. So it's been coursing through my brain happily.
And mine has been the Moody Blues, Lazy Day, which, lazy day, Sunday afternoon. If you don't know the Moody Blues, and not everybody does, listen to the Moody Blues. They just have such great songs. I mean, just very singable. The lyrics are beautiful. Their harmonies are amazing. Yeah. So just get them in your rotation. I grew up with 6 older siblings, so I have very eclectic taste because my oldest brother loves Moody Blues. My
there's what, a 12-year gap between
10,
you guys?
but
10.
yeah, and my closest sibling was more into like morphine and things like that. And then, of course, growing up in the 80s, we have our own
the band Morphine.
Oh yeah, sorry. Not morphine, the drug, morphine, the band, and just things like that. And he loved Rush in high school. Like he had very strange taste too, as well.
2112.
Yes. So I have very eclectic tastes, and Moody Blues is one of my faves.
Excellent. All right. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Elle.
And we both love soup. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.